manage itself is not good. Is that clear? I will tell an example. Okay. Imagine we have a very troublesome friend. Okay. He's coming to visit our house. Okay. So what my another friend will ask me, how are you going to manage this guy for 2 days? Okay. So that word manage itself is very bad. Okay. We have title called as managers and all. But what I'm telling is manage is something somehow I managed like that. Okay. So like that, managing project changes means what? In predictive, we don't entertain changes. Do you know that? In predictive, I repeat again, we don't entertain changes. In agile, we welcome changes. That's a hardcore difference between predictive and agile, guys. Please understand. Okay. So if we don't entertain changes in predictive, that doesn't mean there are no changes. Changes are there, but it goes through a bureaucratic, diplomatic process. That is what we call as change management. Okay. So we'll start with that. Okay. So with reference to this topic, I will ask you a question. Okay. What is the purpose of this butterfly pic here? Do you know? Any idea?
Is it the butterfly effect? Cause and effect?
Butterfly effect is different, not that really. Correct. Anything else?
I think from the larvae it becomes a butterfly when wings open.
Yeah. Life cycle of butterfly.
Life cycle of a butterfly. That is one thing. Okay. So what I want to tell is butterfly is something which has demonstrated a phenomenon, okay, of transforming from a caterpillar to it gets into a cocoon, and from the cocoon it will emerge out into an adult butterfly. Is that clear? Now, if I tell, then what is the name of that process? Do you know? What is the name of that process? Not related to
metamorphosis. Is it metamorphosis?
Exactly, metamorphosis. Okay, that's all. Okay, metamorphosis is that process. Okay, so in the metamorphosis process, okay, once the butterfly comes out of its cocoon and emerges out of an adult butterfly, it undergoes a very tremendous pain in its lifetime. Okay, very high pain. Okay, so if I tell that fact to you now, then you will be wondering, oh yeah, next time when I see a butterfly come out of its cocoon, I will try to help it out, like that. Okay, but I just stopped there. I never said is it required or not. Okay, so the thing is that if it is undergoing a tremendous pain, is it worth for you to go and help that butterfly to come out of it? Will it do a harm to it or a favor to it? You understood my question?
Yeah, as per its harm.
It's a harm, exactly. Okay, that is what. Okay, so I told this much that okay, the butterfly is undergoing through a very painful process. Okay, and if you try to help it out to come out of the cocoon, don't think that it is a favor. It's actually a harm. Why? Because the butterflies that only in that process of getting out of its cocoon, it will develop that wing strength. Okay, whatever it needs. Okay, the wing strength. Okay, and then the enzymes will reach the every single position. Every single end tip of the butterfly. All these things will happen only when it comes out of its cocoon. Okay, if you try to help it out by coming out of its cocoon, everything will get lost. Is that clear? So it will acquire its bond strength. The required enzymes will reach the tip of the butterfly's wing. Everything will happen only in this painful form. If you help it out, the lifespan of the butterfly will decrease drastically. Okay. So what is the purpose which is being conveyed here? Change is inevitable, but don't try to relax the change process. Is that clear? Some complications are there, let that be there. That is a message which I want to tell. All of you clear? Makes sense. That's it. So let's move on further into the topic. Okay. So basically in predictive, there could be 4 reasons for change request. Please understand, in predictive, there could be 4 reasons for change request. Okay. I'll start with this. Okay, the first reason which is there on the leftmost side is inaccurate initial estimate. Okay, so this inaccurate initial estimate, do you guys know who is that who comes up with this excuse for change request? Inaccurate initial estimate. It is my team members. Okay, my team members will come to me and tell, hey Vishak, I have put in the test plan that I need 10 days. Initially, I thought 10 days is enough. But now when I understood the scope, really, I realized that 10 days is not enough. We need at least 18 days. Like that. Okay. So what will be my response to him? In predictive, we don't entertain changes. I told, right? I repeat again, in predictive, we don't entertain changes. So somehow I will try to nicely avoid that person. I'll tell, okay, fine, I can understand, but you do one thing, you submit a change request. Let the change request get approved. Then we can see. This will be my response. Is that clear? So that is the first thing, guys, inaccurate initial estimate. Okay. Now coming to this one, guys, have a look here. The second one is missed requirement. Okay. Missed requirement means what? Who comes up with missed requirements? Do people know? If this is team, missed requirements is who comes up?
Is it the product owner?
Exactly.
The user?
Okay. Exactly. Product owner, more precisely, we can say initiator. Okay. Initiator is a person who comes up with missed requirements. Okay. You know that I have always been a victim of this problem. Okay. Because when I started my career in manufacturing, okay, all the product managers, they were very senior to me in terms of experience. Okay. And what happens? They would have defined a scope initially for my project. Okay. And my team would have started planning, execution and all. Okay. After a month of planning and all, this product manager will come to my cabin nicely and he will tell, hey Vishak, I have a small additional requirement also, small only. Okay, can we incorporate this also into our product? It will take only another 2 days of time, nothing much. Okay, can we do this also? Like that he will ask. And he's a senior person. Okay, so out of hesitation, I will say, okay, I will check with the engineering team, like that. Okay, and once I check with the engineering team, you know what happens? They will scold me. We see, Vishak, simply you agreed something to the product team that 2 days and all. Do you really think this will get over in 2 days? This takes 7 days. And one more thing, this is going to cost another $125 in the project. And this is going to increase the risk of a couple of items in the risk register. Now you tell what to do. You do. Like that, the team will also scold me. Is that clear? So what is the problem I'm trying to convey here? Missed requirement should not be entertained. Okay. Just like I told you, in predictive, we don't entertain any changes. Okay. So what should be our responses here? Okay, sir, totally understand your missed requirements, but I would suggest you raise a change request. If the change request gets approved, we can consider. This should be our response. Okay. Now, I'm going to this one. Specification changes. Okay. So what do you mean by the specification changes? The specification changes are for the good of the project. Okay, I would say in projects there are a lot of technical specifications. Okay, sometimes there may be better specifications out in the market. Okay, but we cannot make changes just like that. The classic example is, I want to tell, imagine I'm working in a delivery of 100 laptops. Okay, so the configuration of laptop which we initially decided was i5. Okay, or if people are comfortable with Mac, M1. Okay, now after some time, one of my friends who is very good in technology, the specifications and all, he said, hey, why are we going with i5? We can easily use i7. There is only a small cost change, minor cost change only, okay? And there are a lot of benefits, like that he's telling. And also regarding M1, M2, he's telling, hey, why can't we move to M2 process? Okay, so I will tell him also the same thing. What will I tell him? I appreciate your idea, okay, my dear friend, but let's do one thing. Let's submit a change request. Only when the change request gets approved, we can think about this specification changes. In the change request, you clearly mentioned what is the benefit of going ahead with this upgrade from i5 to i7. Okay, what is the cost impact? Everything you mentioned clearly, but without the change request approved, we can't do anything. This will be my response. Clear, guys, everyone? The next one is the last one, new regulations. This is very important, guys. I think project closure topic is over, no, in this batch. At that moment, I told you something. Do you remember? Apart from regulations, I asked you guys to keep a note of 5 other keywords. How many of you remember? What are they? Come on, guys. I told you. Exactly. Yeah, come on. You should have noted down, guys. Yeah.
Special complaints.
Compliance. Still there is.
Legal. Yeah. Statute.
Standards. This is what I told, guys. Very important. Okay. Not only regulations, legal, statutory, compliance standards. Okay. Anything else? That's it, 5 keywords. Okay, when this 5 keywords comes, no, please understand our hands are tied. The project manager's hands are tied. Okay, hands are tied means what? Not only project managers. Think of the CEO of the company. Even his hands are tied. Okay, I told some examples. No, if in India we have this, I told about Automotive Regulatory Authority of India, correct? For the car companies. Okay, see, Automotive Regulatory Authority of India is coming up with some new mandate telling that there should be mandatory seatbelt warning alarm. I told, no, mandatory seatbelt warning alarm. Okay, so it's a new regulation. I cannot tell that, hey, when I started planning for this project, if this law was not there, I'm not going to include it. Like that, we cannot tell. If they put a law, and if your car is going to get launched only by 2025 August and all, and if they make this law mandatory, you have to incorporate a change. Okay, whatever is the cost impact, you can put all those, but that change should be accommodated. Is that clear? That is the power of this new regulation, statutory, all this. Okay. Sometimes if the new law is so severe, it may result in even stopping the project. That's what we saw in phase closure. Do you remember? Project closure and phase closure, we spoke about the reasons for closing of the project. How many of you remember what I'm telling? One of the points for closing the project was new regulation. Is that clear, guys, everyone? Okay. Now the next is, that's it, okay. So whenever this also happens, it may result in a new change request. Okay, are you guys clear? These 4 are very important. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any questions so far, please? All these are reasons for change request. And one more thing, interestingly, what I want to tell, in predictive, anyone can raise a change request. Only thing is we don't entertain. See, anyone from India, they can send a mail to President of India. Okay, but is the president going to respond to it? That is the thing. Okay, so anyone can raise a change request. Okay, but in Agile, it is not like that. Only the product owner can make changes to the product.